What?
Again, sorry.
I can only get that look once.
Okay, come on. You can do this now. Come on. Sorry about that, guys. On the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. We'll take a quick temperature of the room so our guests know who's in the room and who they're speaking to. So if you're undergrad, raise your hand. Are you communications or are you outside of communications? Everybody's communications? All right, if you're grad, raise your hand. CCMS? Everyone CCMS, or is there any MPH students in the room? All right, so you got
All right.
a nice mix of students here. I am going to introduce. Oh, you're fine. I'm going to introduce someone to you who has actually helped us get into our new building, who has helped us find a place that we call home as we moved out of the CB Powell building, and that is our dean, Gracie Lawson-Woodridge, and she's going to bring a quick welcome to us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you up front. And she is right. We are very pleased. We are very pleased to be in our new home, the Met Building here at 300 Bryant Street Northwest. For some of you who didn't get a chance to be in the CB Powell building, we were there for quite some time, really since the 80s. But this is our new home for a few years as we prepare to hopefully be in a new home in a new building. And so what we want to do is, with today's event that you're involved in, we want to take the opportunity and do all the things that we've always done, which is present this type of forum for you to get connected, to network, to understand the opportunities that you have. So I am going to sit back and get to enjoy this as well. So thank you, Dr. Tyree.
And how we're able to be here is through the Advertising Education Foundation, stationed in New York City. And we have with us Sharon Hudson, who is a almost 25-year employee there. She has done some wonderful things for Howard University, including allowing two of us to go to New York City and study under professionals to learn a little bit more about advertising so we can bring that knowledge back to our classrooms. Our chair, Kabuma Langmia, was one of those professors besides me, and we're actively trying to recruit a couple in the room now to be a part of that program. She also handles the HBCU Connect, as well as an HBCU scholarship program there as well. And she just wants to bring greetings and talk a little bit more about how we got our wonderful speaker here today.
Hello, everybody. Sharon Hudson is my name, VP Program Manager at the A&A Educational Foundation. At the A&A, I feel literally the bridge between academia and industry. Every program that we run is for the benefit of you and of your professors. And speaking of you, how many of you envision yourselves working in the advertising industry once you graduate? Hands, please. Or maybe a marketing company? Hands. Maybe a PR agency? Hands. Okay, juniors, may I have my juniors and teachers raise your hands, please? Great. Okay, this is for everyone. But for those who are juniors and seniors right now, I want you to visit AF.com, and I want you to please go to our MAID internship program. The MAID internship program is a wonderful program, and students all over the country are applying for the program as I speak. The deadline is January, but don't wait. Don't sleep on this opportunity. It'll be a promising opportunity for you to get this program, and some Howard alum have been in the program already. For instance, one launched her career at IBM, not too shabby, I'll say. So please do the program. And next, another program we have here called Masters on Campus. We have industry partners, one of which is Johnson & Johnson, and that's how we were able to get this high energy, excited young man here today to visit you guys today.
Okay.
So Dr. Honda will tell you more about him.
Good afternoon. Is the mic on? Can you guys hear me? It's okay. It's for the internet. But can you hear me in the back?
Sounds soft, no one then.
So I'm going to stand up so you can hear me. Is this okay? Okay, I'm going to introduce our speaker. My name is Dr. Monica Ponder. I am an assistant professor in CCMS here in the School of Communications. I'm also a trained epidemiologist and a lover of all things public health communications. So I'm very excited to help facilitate this conversation. I'm just going to warn you, Manoj said, ask him anything. So I'm going to read his bio. I think this is very humble. Yes, he said, do I have to? I am, just so everyone knows who's in the room, but also if you can be thinking of your questions so that we can have a rich discussion today. So Manoj Raghunandanan,
Perfect.
perfect, thank you, is President, Global Self-Care and Consumer Experience Organization, and serves on the Consumer Health Leadership Team. An inspirational people-first leader, Manoj leads the $5 billion global self-care organization and is responsible for setting a clear strategy and building the pipeline so the franchise continues its growth as a consumer health stronghold, with iconic brands including Tylenol, Zyrtec, and Nicorette. With a strong leadership mindset, Manoj is adept at identifying the right marketing, commercialization, and innovation solutions to grow and lead markets. In addition, Manoj oversees an organization of subject matter experts across data sciences, insights, and marketing, the Consumer Experience Organization. With Manoj's leadership, this team, has the power of our consumer health expertise and data-driven insights to unlock meaningful consumer experiences and advance capabilities that will accelerate growth and effectiveness around the world. The team's focus is insights and analytics, marketing capabilities, technology platforms, partnerships, and connected commerce, things that we talk about in the School of Communications all the time. So I hope that you can use and leverage this time to ask him anything. Those aren't my words, those are his. And so we're going to start today with one question just to set the stage, Manoj. How do you define health communication, and how does it situate itself within the larger field of communications?
Okay. Hey, how y'all doing? Come on, man. I was a professor for 7 years, so we're going to work the room, cool? And we're going to have a conversation. Does that work for you guys? Because what I found in my life is having somebody up here try to tell you what to do when you already are smart, bold, courageous, young black people that are going to make things happen in this world. That's a mistake. Because the real brilliance happens when we share what we know together, and we share it with one another, and we make something together. Is that a deal? So whether it's 5 people, 50 people, 20 people, or 500 people, we're going to walk out better, all of us collectively. Hopefully I'll help you and you'll help me too. That's the deal? All right, cool. So listen, first of all, I just want to say how grateful is the word I will use to be on Howard's campus. This means a lot to me personally, just to be here. Just to be able to walk on the campus, to see so many beautiful, bright, bold, badass people walking this campus and what their possibilities will be, that's an inspiration to me. That's fuel for me. So you've already given me a gift and we haven't even started talking. See, because I tell people all the time, first and foremost, bio be left aside. I'm a dad first, all day, every day. 3 beautiful little black girls at home. You might be looking at me and my name and saying, how are they black girls? You know why? Because they told me they were black girls when they were in the 4th grade and they came home and they said, Daddy, just so you know, we're black. I said, excuse me? And they said, because where we live and the people that are around us, everybody just thinks we're black. And their mother, dark as night, beautiful as can be, from Kingston, Jamaica, said, ah, yes, this is why I'm going to be. Right? Because she knew that their experience was going to be different than any other experience than any I had seen or I had understood. And so therefore it's my job to understand. And believe you me, I understand. They are 15. There's a lot going on with 15-year-old twins, and I got a little one that's 7. But it's the greatest blessing of my entire life. And so being here and seeing you and seeing what's possible is inspirational for me. And I'm going to take that story home with me. I'm going to let them know what's possible for them, because all of you, hopefully, are going to grab that seat at the table and not wait for anybody else to give it to you. So let's talk about health communications. Health communications, to me, is communications. One of the things that I think that we do a little bit too often is we take communications and we want to compartmentalize the type of communication that it is. One of the things that's happened absolutely in the course of the last 7 years, particularly with the advent of what? This has changed the game. How many of you have had this? I'm sorry, I know this is a repeat question for you. How many of you have had this for a majority of your life? Raise your hand. Majority of your life, meaning more than 50% of your life you had this in your hand. That's a small number, I'm surprised. But the reality is this has changed every single piece of communication that we have ever done in our entire lives. Raise your hand if you leave voicemail. Okay, that's about right. Raise your hand if you've ever misinterpreted a text message. The entire world of communications has changed. We were just talking, Dr. Pond and I, about health misinformation. I was sharing with her that I recently had to sit down with Cheryl Sandberg and with her next, because Cheryl Sandberg's moving out of her job, Marnie, at Meta. And we were having a conversation about what their role should be at Meta in managing health misinformation. And I want to give credit where credit is due. In the beginning stages of COVID, because it is free speech and it is a platform where free speech should happen, they didn't feel like it was their role to tell people how and when and where to manage COVID. But the reality is, when you are reaching almost 2/3 of the world's population and there's a lot of misinformation, you have a powerful vehicle by which you can provide people simply the facts on COVID. And that's a conversation that we're having today, where a healthcare company is talking to a social media platform and saying, how can we partner together to ensure that health information is accurate, it is timely, it is thoughtful, and it's reaching those who need it. So what I would offer to you is, while health communications is one way to kind of characterize a type of communications, the reality is all communications is now social, whether you want it to be or not. We were just with some students who are studying speech pathology here at your school, and I was telling them that they might attend a conference one day for speech pathologists. Today, what we know is that whether it's an educational conference or whether it is a healthcare conference, when you're in that conference and you're trying to decide what session to go to, yes, you might look at the agenda, but what we find that professionals are doing now more than ever before is we're a little bit older, on Twitter, discovering which session is trending and making a choice which session to go to based on that Twitter trend, not based on anything else. That is social, changing the way that we communicate. We had a conversation this afternoon in Dr. Tyree's class. I won't go through the whole story unless you guys think it's good, then maybe I'll do it again. But the reality is, relationship building as human beings has now been changed forever. Think about what I'm saying. Relationship building, determining who you trust, determining who's your friend, determining how good of a friend they are, is now more than ever before determined without even having any verbal communication. You liked my picture or you didn't like my picture. You followed me back or you didn't follow me back. You followed me back right away, you took 5 days to follow me back. Who are you following back? What content are you liking? What is your comment? Who's on your feed? I'm deciding about you by reading through your IG feed and deciding, yes, I'm going to follow him back, or no, he's not worthy. Without any verbal communication. So this school and what you all are doing and the genre that you are participating in is being more changed now than ever before. And knowing that you were at the CDC and seeing how organizations like the CDC and the FDA are now using social channels to educate patients about health care, the whole world has changed. The whole world has changed. So health, communications, technology, it's all merging together.
Thank you, Manoj. I think also this talks about power and how much power we all have in this room to get institutions to listen to us.
Yes.
And so I want to level set a little bit. You guys know this is being live streamed. So I'm going to ask the next question, but if you have a question in the room, just raise your hand and we can have an interactive dialogue. I'll pose questions as well as come to the room. So with that, talking about power, what have been some of your successes with Johnson & Johnson in terms of communications? What have been some missteps?
Sure, I got a few of those. I'm happy to share. So I work in what's called our consumer division, right? So that's not pharmaceuticals, that's not medical technology, okay? So when I say consumer products, we're talking about things like Neutrogena, Tylenol, Listerine, Aveeno, Nicorette, brands you might know that you maybe had in your household forever, right? So as part of that, we do a lot of communications, right? We put out a lot of content, as you guys would probably call it, right? We put out a lot of content. So I was living in Singapore. I was working in Asia, and some of my folks my managers called me and said, hey, listen, we're going to bring Tylenol back to the market. It had been off the market for some time. We're going to bring Tylenol back to the marketplace. And we need somebody to lead that organization. Would you like to do that? I said, bet, sign me up. Let's do it, right? It's an iconic brand, $1 billion in sales. I would love to be a part of building the marketing for that brand as it comes back. As we were doing that work, one of the things you might even think is that Tylenol is like an iconic household brand. The first time that it usually comes into your home is with babies and infants, right? When you first bring them home, some of you may not know that, some of you may know that, but it's in the home, that first fever, that first ear infection. Infants Tylenol is generally there to help moms and dads get through those moments. So as we're relaunching the brand itself, for those of you that have had a chance to study branding, the equity of the brand, right? So what the brand means, it's a lot of trust, it's a lot of healthcare professional endorsement, meaning they support it, and it's about what? Family. Because Tylenol's there from that first infancy all the way through when you have arthritis. So for your whole life. So it's a family brand, right? Got it. So we go to develop our content on this brand, and man, I may not get the year right. I want to say it's 2014-ish, somewhere around there. And we're listening to our consumers tell us about how they feel about the brand. And you talk about power. We had people telling us, you say you're the family brand, but don't none of your families look like mine. They said, wait, what? You say you're all about family. I don't see my family in your advertising, in your content. Where's my family? My family don't look like that. And I have to tell you, it was a powerful moment. Let me tell you why. My parents immigrated to this country in 1959. The only image I ever saw of myself was Apu on The Simpsons. I was not down with that. And I knew in my own mind what imagery meant and what I saw and what was portrayed. And here I was in a moment where I had a chance to better reflect what was true of the American population. So, long story short, an incredible woman on my team, along with some incredible agency folks, together we developed a campaign called How We Family. And the concept was about how people family in America today in 2014. And we put our first piece of content out, which was a longer form, so it was about a longer form film, that's what we call it, but it was about a 26-second long form film. It opened with two hands nervously touching, and you could tell that they were younger hands. And then you saw a bit of a glittery background. And then as you panned out, you saw two young teenage girls going to their prom. And after that, image after image of black families, brown families, blended families, biracial families. And we talked about the fact that it's not how you love, it's not who you love, it's how you love, and that's how you family. And we launched that campaign the day of the Supreme Court ruling for gay marriage. And you're talking about a brand that has been around for 100 years almost, taking a step forward and saying that we are going to represent you, we see you, and we need you, and we don't deserve your dollars if we can't truly represent you. That, to me, was a success for the brand. It has been a success for the brand since then, and it really was an incredible opportunity in learning and growth for us. I know it was a longer story. The misstep I'll just tell you is I'll give you one that I made as a leader, if that's helpful for you, because I believe all of you, who's going to be a leader here? Come on, man, can we get them hands? I thought I was at Howard, not Hampton. Like, put your hands up. Come on, come on. I only said that for my friend. I got my dear friend who's at Hampton. I just... Okay, already a leader in the room. Okay, sorry.
That's a CCMS student, I just want to say.
Understood. Hey, don't send that Hampton comment out broad. I'll get in trouble. I got a lot of friends there. Here's what I would offer you. So I'm going to share a leadership lesson with you because I think it's really important about what authenticity looks like in leadership today. Okay? I had gone on a vacation with my family. We happened to be in France, and we were flying from Paris to Nice. And at the time we were flying from Paris to Nice, our flight was delayed because there was a bombing in Nice. Does anybody remember when that happened? There was a car bombing that happened in Nice, and I didn't know whether or not I was going to go to that trip or whether it was going to happen. And I immediately thought of my team and thought that they might be wondering what was going on. And I also thought, like, oh my God, these people, these innocent people in Nice, like, went through this thing. And I sent this long note to my team. And I just expressed, my empathy for those folks and what they were going through, the fact that this shouldn't be happening in this world. I wanted to just be genuine and honest. And I thought I was sending a genuine connection moment. So I sent that out. Come home from my trip, and this incredibly powerful black woman on my team came to my office. I thought she was about to come and say, what's up? Because we were really close, you know what I mean? And she was, even though she worked for me, we had a great relationship. And I trusted her as a mentor, even though she was junior to me. And she came to my office and she said, hey, Manoj. And I was like, oh, what's up? And she said, I thought she was going to ask me about my trip. And she said, you hurt me really bad. I was like, wait, what? She's like, how could you? I said, wait a minute, what is happening here? She said, I have sat here and talked to you, and you have expressed to me incredible frustration about police brutality time and time and time again. And then this happens in Nice, and you decide to communicate. But you have never sent out a communication of all the things that you tell me and that we talk about when we're in your office. I just want to know, brother, is the mask on too tight, or can you let them know? And you know what? I gave her the biggest hug I've ever gave anybody that's worked for me. Because she's right. And since then I've changed and I've learned and I've grown. And I am true to who I am every single day. But that was an incredible learning moment for me. Because even though I thought maybe I was doing the right thing, I was missing a big moment in order to support more people and to be more genuine to who I was. So I share that with you for two things. Be who you are every day and live in that power. Find an organization that you value, but also values you. And if they don't value you for who you are, then that may not be the spot for you. And I want to give Johnson & Johnson credit because I've been who I am more openly every day because of that learning experience in that moment. And things have been working out okay.
Thank you for sharing both of
Okay.
those. I think what I'm hearing, and I see a hand, I love it. If you can stand up for me. What I'm hearing in both of it is the humanity in your work and how that can't be lost from just the practice of being a professional, no matter our field. So if you can introduce yourself, your major, and answer your question.
Okay, hi, I'm Ava White. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm an advertising major and a business minor. My question is that assuming that you are hard work, that will obviously hurt. What advice would you give to someone starting out to get to the position where you are in your life? Because I know naturally when you got to the position you got in your career, that takes a lot of confidence and a lot of just security and the fact that you know that what you're doing is right. And I kind of want to know how to get to that point because I'm going to graduate soon-ish. And I just want to make sure that I have the confidence to take on any ad agency, media agency, marketing agency, and make it my own.
Got it. Sorry, can you tell me your name one more time? Nyala. That's beautiful. First of all these diaspora names make me so happy. Makes me so excited. Thank you. That's beautiful. Good question. So there's a lot in your question, so I'm going to try to break it down in a couple of different parts, okay? First of all, what you see now is not what it was. I want to be very, very clear. I was a professor of mathematics for 7 years. I used to teach at Temple University. I wore jeans, Timbs, and a Timberland sweatshirt every day. Okay? That was my wardrobe. I'm from Philly, and I talked about Johns and Bulls all day long. Okay? Even when I was teaching math. And all of a sudden, after finishing my MBA, I was going to Pfizer Consumer Healthcare, a traditional corporate setting, to take on a job with people that were probably looking at me like, wait, what? So I'll never forget, I told this story that I went to, and I don't know if anybody's from Philly, but they have these everywhere. I went to 2nd and Market in Philly. There's a place called $99 Suits. I don't know if you have one in your city, because I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I bought me some peanut butter gators because I didn't want to buy the Now and Later Johns. So I bought the peanut butter ones because I was like, brown, I need to be a little bit conservative. I had the big baggy dress pants, you know, like the big Johns, and then I had a yellow shirt. And man, I knew I looked good. And I pulled up in the parking lot listening to Biggie. It was loud, but that's what you did. You just rolled, and you know what I mean? And pulled in the parking lot. And I walked into that office, and I want to tell you, I knew from the minute that, oh, whoa, it hit me like a brick wall. That I was not ready. That I had not been properly told or educated as to what this was going to be and what was going to be required. I had imposter syndrome. Have you heard that? Don't let it get you. I feel like it's getting you and you haven't even gotten to your job yet. Right? Don't let it get you. So if you truly believe, listen, the one thing I talk to my daughters about all the time is I have something written on the back of their book bag. It says best effort. That's all I've ever talked to them about, and anything they ever do is best effort. But I've always been very clear that you have to understand and establish what does best effort look like. And you guys know in your heart of heart when it's your best, right? Like you know when you really prepared for the exam or when you kind of prepared for the exam. And you might tell people you really prepared for the exam, but you know in your heart that you kind of prepared for the exam. You know what I'm saying? So what I would offer to you is, are you truly a student of the game? Are you truly as prepared as you should be when you walk into those doors? Have you done all the hard work? Have you sought out the mentors? Have you had the conversations? Have you manipulated the algorithm of your social media feed so that you're not getting any more junk, but you're getting stuff that's going to make you better at your job every single day? Is that all you read? Is that all you talk about? Are you obsessed? Because if you are, then anything that feels like imposter syndrome is going to be tamped down by the greatness and knowledge and understanding that you have walking in. Now that said, when you walk in, you will likely fake it till you make it. Because that's real too. And yes, I did. Yes, I did. Fake it till I make it. Until I learned the language. Until I learned the code. Until I learned who was who. Until I learned how to navigate. Until I understood who was truly going to help me. And through all of that, you make your way. But you never, ever make it on your own. Make sense? So while I want you to do all that preparation, and I want you to be crazy, and I want you to be obsessed, and I want you to be prepared, I also want you to be open to the feedback every single day. No matter who it is. I'm not saying you have to accept and make changes on all the feedback, but make yourself open and available to the feedback every day so that you're getting all the possible coaching that you can. Right now, tying back to social media and communications, you're able to filter all of that out. All the things I don't want to hear, all the messages I don't agree with, all the people who I can block who don't agree with me, I get this nice curated, this is all the stuff I like. When you get feedback from your professors, have you created an environment where they can really give it to you? Or have you created an environment where it's like, you can kind of tell her, but you can't really tell her because she'll get upset? So you got to make sure you find those people to help you do it, right? Number one, be a student of the game, be obsessed. Number two, yes, you will have to fake it till you make it. Number three, you never have to make it on your own, so find those people, be willing to accept as much feedback as you can so you can get better every single day. And number four, and the most important lesson, it's nobody else's job to believe in you but you. Not your mom, not your dad, not your uncles, not your sorority sisters, you. So stop looking for all these other people to fill your cup. Fill your own cup for yourself every single day, and you're going to be all good. All right? Thank you for the question. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry. You should be doing that. I'm just saying yes, ma'am. I apologize.
You wanted to, okay.
Hi, my name is Maryson. I'm a sophomore advertising major from Maryland. So I heard you say you were a mathematics, a mathematics professor. So how did you get into health communications? Like, what's your background in terms of maybe you got a communications degree in college? And
Yeah.
you switched it over to mathematics. Like, how did you kind of segue into communications?
Yeah.
Second part of that question, how did you maybe discover that was your passion rather than being a professor? Because with you're talking to us, I feel like we're a good professor, so how to, yeah.
Thank you so much for your question. Where in Maryland? PG County?
Nah, I'm from Charles County.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't want to be offensive, but yeah, I know people in PG County. I didn't see you wearing the New Balance 790, so that would have given it away. Then I would have known that you PG County all day long. I mean, that's how we know Silver Springs. At least that's how I can tell. You see, because when you at Temple, you look for the girls that are wearing the New Balance 790s, and then you know PG County. Yep. So let me turn your question a little bit and say this. Damaris, right?
Yes.
I didn't know. I was trying to figure it out. And I was trying to make a little money. I was a waiter for 20 years. I was a professor, and at the same time I was trying to be a singer.
Let's hear something.
That was a long time ago, my dear. I feel like we got a good vibe. I don't want to mess it up. I want y'all to still respect me when we're done here. So I just want to share with you that I didn't have it figured out. And certainly as a sophomore, I had no clue. I was just running around Temple, living in the dorms, away out of my parents' house, like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is like real life. There are girls that live on the floor below me. What is happening here? So I was still all caught up in that, right? So I didn't know, is what I will tell you. Here's what I knew. Whatever I was going to do, I was going to work hard at. Whatever I was going to try, I was going to give my full effort and really see, was it for me or not? My journey was like this. I finished my bachelor's and then I finished my first master's. While I was finishing my first master's, in order to pay for it, I had a little bit of acuity for math, so I did it as a teaching assistant. That's how I paid for school. So I didn't have to pay for my master's. I was a teaching assistant. I did it in math. I didn't mind doing math, and so I started doing that. What happened to me, God is good all the time. What happened to me is, in my very first class, 21 years old, I was supposed to teach a class. It was 300 students. This is Temple University, so it's a big school. 300 students in introductory math. It's called Math 15. I'll never forget the name. The woman who was supposed to teach the class got sick. She had a health issue, and so she was not going to be able to teach the semester. And they said, well, you're teaching the class. I said, who's teaching the class? They said, you are teaching the class. I am 21 years old, freshman math. All these students are 18. I walk in with my jeans and my Timbs and my Phillies hat on backwards, and they're like, who are you? And I was like, I think I'm teaching this class. Overwhelmed, scared, worried, and afraid. You know what I did? I just had a conversation with those students about math. See, Temple's a university where if you're not prepared for university level classes, you can take classes to get you prepared for university level classes. So this was introductory. And these were students that were coming from, community college and others, so they were doing algebra at that level. And I knew algebra. And I started having conversations with them about algebra in real terms, in real life, and just translating into an interesting thing. And then a couple of things clicked for me, like this is not like how my teachers taught me. I'm going to VHS tape, I know it was that long ago, VHS tape record myself teaching and give it to professors and get some feedback. And see, how do you think I'm doing teaching this class? Do you think I'm doing a good job? Do you think I suck? Tell me what's good. And they would tell me a couple things were good, was not good. So anyway, I did that as an undergrad to pay for my master's. And from that teaching experience, I had kids register for my next class. They wanted me for their next class. So then I taught Math 45 the following semester. And just like that, it turned into 7 years of being a professor. Now here's what I want to tell you. I love teaching students. It was the greatest gift to go to graduation. Some of the professors here could probably tell this story too. When you go to that graduation and somebody's mama grabs your hand and says, my baby is the first one to graduate from college in our family. Thank you. There is no money that can ever, ever replace that feeling. Ever replace that feeling. I miss that. The reality is, man, I didn't love math. So in order to be where your esteemed professors are, you need to do a PhD, and I didn't have it in me. But I knew I was pretty good at math, and I liked communicating with people. I liked teaching. So I decided to do market research as my MBA because I thought my math would help me in market research. I did an internship in that, and I discovered when you do market research, you present the data to the client, and then the client does what? Thank you very much. We'll go make a decision now. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I want to be a part of that. And they're like, you're not on the marketing team. You're the market research guy. And I said, oh, hell no. Changed my major to marketing. And then another long story that I won't bore you with now. I got lucky again. And I got hired in Pfizer Consumer Healthcare as a marketing head. That's the transition that was made. The story I want you to take away is the path is not straight ahead. I did not know what I was doing. I got help along the way. I got lucky. But what I did choose to do, I did to the best of my ability every single day. And you'll find your path. You'll find your path. There's no one path for you. Make sense?
Thank you.
Of course. I don't know. You got to pick the order here.
He's being so gracious. So let's go to you first and introduce yourself, please, and then Dean will come to you next, and then make our way around the room.
I'll be faster with my answers. We're going to run out of time. I'm sorry.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Thank you for leading. My name is Kenya Sumner. I am a second-year PhD student in the Department
Oh,
of
it's a tough question. Get ready.
Communication, Culture, and Media Studies, and my track is Public Communications. So recently, one of my classmates sent me this language, something about from the New York Times on Instagram. So I'm going to read it, and then I have a question about it from you. So it says, again, it's from the New York Times, and it says, researchers who study type 2 diabetes have reached a stark conclusion. There is no device or drug powerful enough to counter the effects of poverty, pollution, stress, a broken food system, cities that aren't walkable, and inequitable access to health care. What we know about type 2 diabetes is that a plant-based whole food diet can prevent or reverse that disease. As someone who communicates drug interventions, how does that, knowing that, challenge you or push you in your work?
Manoj, can I just say I'm so proud of CCMS students here. Thank you so much, Kenya.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
good. It's good.
Yes.
Here's what I would offer you, right? At the end of the day, you have to kind of think about what is your job, right? And I believe that my job at Johnson & Johnson is to best serve the consumers and patients that do come to Johnson & Johnson for care, right? And the reality is, what is my job in that? That our products will be absolutely high quality, that our products will be backed by science, true clinical science, that our products will be endorsed by professionals, and that they will be delivered in a quality and safe manner every single time you take it. The choices of medical intervention or not medical intervention is an incredibly personal choice, right? I come from a lineage and history of 5,000 years of Ayurvedic medicine, right? So that's a different philosophy and approach to how you might actually manage the problem versus managing the symptoms. Now, what I've learned in my time in healthcare is that there are incredible technologies and science that are saving people's lives. My father was a pancreatic cancer. That's how he died. But what medicine did for him is something that I can never thank medicine enough, even if it gave me 2 more months, 3 more months. So what I can't debate is because I don't know the clinical studies behind a plant-based diet. I'm not going to challenge anybody's pretense there. My family is vegetarian because they're all Hindus, so I have some knowledge in the space. What I would offer is that my responsibility, as I see it, is when and if a consumer makes a choice that medical intervention, traditional medical intervention, is in fact the right choice for them, and that of their doctor and their professional, that I do it in a manner that I can be proud of, and I can say that I can still do that every day. And I wouldn't be in the company I'm in if I didn't believe that. Now, what you're actually bringing up before you brought up the plant-based diet is what the healthcare disparity is in this country, because what you didn't mention is that the highest afflicted population of type 2 diabetes are people that look like people in this room, right? And centuries of disenfranchising those people, and redlining, and Black Wall Street, and health deserts, and all of those things has landed us with some of those issues that you've talked about. Now, the same company that I work for, what I am proud of that organization for doing is saying, okay, that is something in this space where we can have impact. What do I mean by that? We're going to say at least $100 million we're going to put behind closing the health disparity gap that exists for African Americans in this country. Now, how do you go about doing that? First of all, representation in clinical trials, right? There's not enough representation of African Americans, Hispanics, and others in clinical trials for you to be very clear on how this will affect my body, because it might be different. It is in the space I'm in. I told you I work on Neutrogena. There are dermatologists that are trained, obviously, right? Dermatologists are not, let me repeat, not trained specifically on African American skin or skin of color. But they are asked to provide recommendations for those same folks. If you go to pediatric eczema pages in textbooks today, there are no pictures of black skinned babies with eczema. But we're asking dermatologists and pediatricians to diagnose eczema in black children. So today, in our research labs, with our patients, we are providing that content to those publications so that they're in there, so that there's the education, because that's a big part of the gap. Many black patients go into a doctor's office and talk about pain, and their pain is not heard. Oftentimes because the person on the receiving end doesn't look like them. Not enough nurses are black. Not enough doctors are black. How can we put more nurses and doctors through scholarships into the pipeline so that these voices are heard? So while I can't provide you a perfect answer on plant-based versus medical intervention, what I can say is, and this is important for whatever company you choose to work in, and I think given where you guys are and the demographics that you are and the psychographics you are, you're going to make this choice anyway. Ensure that the company you work for aligns with your purpose. And if at any point you don't feel like their purpose aligns with yours, make a different choice. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Manoj. So we have 10 minutes, and we're going to do a round robin, a fast round robin,
Okay,
with
I'll be
about 3-4
faster.
questions. I saw, so some students had to leave to go to a class, but I saw Dean, your hand, and then you're behind Kenya. I see you. You go next. And any other questions? Let's go to you behind Dean. Yeah, Dean first.
I was going to say, you almost said great question and great answer, because I was on the interview, they said, Dean, I have to represent you. And first, I need my radio, and it really means because diversity week is next week, sponsored by Media Village, .com New York, and their goal is to get 1,000 physicians across the country at HBCUs. So the question that was asked to me is, why are there enough people, black people and people of color, in advertising? And they said, what are your responses to that? And I said, that's why this week is important. So I'm asking, did you ask as well, or what do I have to add? Because I'm on national radio saying this, saying because we need the different voices, because we need different people to be able to do the different research, to be able to come to the table. And trust me, what I need for my skin is completely different than what some of you need for your skin. What dry skin needs to be in the sun, I love the sun, but what it does need is completely different than what it will do in terms of drying what may occur. So I said, if we're not mixing up the voices and we're at the table to raise the questions about what products we consume, why we consume them, then we're missing the boat. So tell the dean that the question was somehow our answer was somewhere on the I got right on there again. But it's important because the question was well taken and well received and well answered. This is what we're talking about. What you bring to the table is what this leadership and this input and finding the right places. And that was kind of my question is, we have to keep pushing to be, at that table, take your chair and bring it in the room. Metaphorically, but that's what I mean. because that's the only way we're going to improve
Absolutely.
a lot of what is happening. So I'll be quiet there, but these two kind of answer my question, both the question and the answer. Oh, there he is. I'll talk about that. Dr. Caruth.
Hi, my name is.
So you're advertising and you just know. Go ahead. Let me get out of the way. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Leah Williams. I'm a junior PI major in environmental studies and sociology minor. And my question was about your time in Singapore. What did you do? What campaign did you work on? And how was that being like in Singapore?
Yeah, dude, listen, first of all, Singapore was the single greatest family experience that I've ever had. Because it was my wife Keisha and our twins at the time just graduated from kindergarten. And we moved 10,500 miles away. And if you ever have a chance to do that with your family, the reason why I say such a blessing is because I live in Bucks County, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. My mom lives 15 minutes away. My brother lives 10 minutes away. All my boys live there. And I was in a lifestyle. This might resonate more with some of our older folks, right? You get into a lifestyle and you can almost fossilize into that lifestyle. Meaning, these are my friends, this is what I do on Sundays, this is what we do for New Year's Eve, this, right? And then I broke that fossil and moved to Singapore. Two things happened. Number one, when you move to a foreign country like that, your nucleus family, those 4 people, is your whole family. There's nobody else to go. I'm not gonna see my mom or my brother or my cousin or my aunt. These are the people. And you create a bond from that experience that is so special that I'll never forget. Second, my twins saw 17 countries in less than 14 months. To this day, my daughter eats seaweed. You know, dry seaweed, and people think she's crazy. But when she was a little kid and we were there, that was one of her favorite snacks. They love dumplings, but they'll only eat dumplings from like the best of places because they've had them in the best of places. I got to take them home to see my family in India 5 times. To visit my father's home, my mother's home, to see that, to eat food on the floor off of a banana leaf with their elders. So it's the greatest single learning experience that we've ever had as a nucleus family. It also gave them a different perspective. They were only 5 and 6 years old, and they just had their 15th birthday. You know what they asked me for? They asked me for an away suitcase because they want to travel more. They want to get out more. Where are we going to see next, Dad? That's just like changing my mind. So I'm so grateful. And I'm a benefactor of J&J. They sent me, they put them in great schools. We had a great opportunity. So it was amazing. And more importantly, when you're an expat family like that, you live amongst other expats, those people become your family. And what I realized about myself is I'm a little bit narrow, if I'm being frank and honest, about my friend selection set. I'm pretty good. I got my frat, I got my people, like I'm good. And when you live in a country like that, the people that live around you all of a sudden become the people you rely on. They become family. And now I have families in Spain, in Belgium, in Italy, and in California that I consider my family. Like I will ride or die for these people because they were there for me and my family because they were the only people we had when we were 10,500 miles away. So thank you for asking. A real groundbreaking experience for me. I worked on AccuView at that time, contact lenses. And in that market, beauty contact lenses, so lenses that change the appearance of your eye or make it more brilliant, are wildly popular. It all started in Korea, Japan, and China. And so I had a chance to work on that business while I was there. But if you ever have a chance and you're feeling nervous about it, just jump and trust and do it because it'll change your life.
Thank you, Manoj. So we're going to take one more question, and then I'm going to ask Dr. Cherie to come and give us our closing remarks.
Sure.
So introduce
Hi.
yourself, please.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Charlene. I'm a senior PR student here. Policy sci minor. I'm from the DMV by way of Okinawa, Japan. And my question is.
DMV, Okinawa, Japan. I need to hear more about this. We are going to talk. We're going to talk.
Yes. So my question is more about like after college.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at furthering my education.
Sure.
I've had the opportunity to dip into this in-house, out-of-house sports, non-profit, so that's helped me to gain a lot of experience. But I guess now I'm wondering, I've heard various reviews, I guess I'd say, on pursuing a master's, whether I should do bachelor's and, make a business route or more communications route or more so just finding that niche.
Yep.
Like with PRs,
Yep.
your take and advice on it.
Sure. Well, the first thing is I think you got some master's students in here, right? So I'm hoping you're using that network and having an honest dialogue, right? please don't lose that opportunity. They are in it, right? Master's, PhD, they are in it. They are going through it. So let's make sure we take advantage of that and ask the question. I think 2 things I want to tell you. I'm not going to assume your age, but I'm assuming you're young. When you are where you are in your life, take all the risk you can. Take all the risk you can. Responsibly. Take on, okay? Because as you get further down the road, right? I always tell people when I talk on panels, they're like, what's your motivation? Right? They say, oh, what's your motivation? I said, I got 4 women of color at home, and there's nobody, nowhere, anywhere, anyhow that will ever stop me from giving them everything they need for the rest of their lives, full stop. You can try, but you will not stop me. That is why I live and breathe. But there was a moment when I was your age, when I was living and breathing for me, right? And in that moment, I didn't take enough advantage of it. Now, that's because part of it, I'll give you the psychology, I don't want to overwhelm you with it, but I was from an immigrant household and we didn't have anything. And so getting a job and having stability and having money and having income was what I prized as a possession, not experiences. Because I wanted to have because we never had. Make sense? So I pursued jobs and free education, and that was my linear path. And it's part of the reason why I didn't continue to pursue the arts, because I didn't think I could get stability. So when you are where you are, what I would say is, yes, education is great, and masters are great, and PhDs are great, and I have an incredible respect for people that do them. But experiences are phenomenal. And by the way, having those experiences before you do your master's will make you better at your master's as well. So can you identify, what are you passionate about? What do you really care about? See, because right about now, when you're as young as you are, you can live with 6 other people, sleep on the floor, and you don't really care, right? You can go to Botswana and work on something and not make a lot of money and not eat the best food, but you don't care. I can't do that right now. Not because I don't want to, but because maybe I'm not as tough as I used to be. I live in the suburbs too long, right? But you can. So my guidance would be, find passion. First of all, talk to people that are experts that are doing it right now. Find passion. My gut would be experiences over education right away, but pursue experiences that are complementary, but that also fulfill you.
Thank you, Manoj. Let's give him a round of applause. And I'm inviting Dr. Tree up just to give some closing comments.
Yes,
you
so
are awesome.
good.
Actually, before I wrap up, because Dr. Karuk has nothing short than an army of people coming into this room and on stage in 301. It is impressive. I'll even say that.
Sorry.
No, we're fine. But I want to say that he's been with us all day long. From 11 a.m., from a chat with the dean to my class, till we ate at the punch-out / cafe across the way. Then we talked to a COSD class, and now he's here, so he is officially, unofficially Howard Bison at this point.
All right, I like that. Thank you.
And do you want to just leave them with one last kind of word before you go?
Yeah, listen, all I would say is these are some incredible people who I've met just being here, and just recognize the access that you have. They strike me as individuals that are here and willing to help. I'm assuming one of the reasons why you picked an HBCU is so that you could see people sitting next to you that look like you, but you could also see people in front of you that look like you. And that's a blessing and a gift. And I would just ask that you do all that you can to take full advantage of that opportunity, because these folks are incredible. And they have a lot to offer you. And it's only your loss if you choose not to. I already know by the fact that you chose to be here as opposed to doing something else that you're motivated and you want to be good at what you do and you want to be great. But take it one step further. Identify what your true greatness is, because I believe everybody has greatness that resides in them. You just got to find it and unlock it and let it go, and you will be brilliant. So my wish for all of you is that you find your greatness, that you're able to unlock it, but if you need help, you have incredible people around you that can help you get there. And continue on your journey. Congratulations for where you are today, but incredible hope for what you'll be tomorrow. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
But you must have vibed with Dr. Karuk, since he also
Oh, look at this! Hey!
I was like, wait a minute.
Let's go, bro. Thanks, bro. brother. I appreciate you, man.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, man. Look at that.
I got a medium, hopefully.
No, I'm a sweetie. You see me, man. You see me. You see me. Hey, take this picture real quick. Oh, yeah, I'll hold my shirt up. Cool. I'm going to get this tag hidden up. Hold up.
Yeah.
My man. Thank you so much.
So if you, I don't know, I know you've been here, but I have the CEO of Circle Crypto Company.
Crypto company? Yeah. Wow, dope, man, dope.
If you want to sit in.
Yo, can you hit me up on LinkedIn, though, man? Let's stay
Yeah.
connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If I can come down and be helpful, do one of your marketing classes, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
in. I'm in.
That sounds great.
I'm in.
That sounds appreciated.
All right.